Hello, and thank you so much for coming to watch this new moon in Capricorn video. My name is Alejandra Valenzuela. This is Wildflowers Within on YouTube, and I'm really excited to talk about this new moon. I'm feeling very serious. I'm feeling very grounded right now. And I hope that part of that will be a transmission of understanding the house of Capricorn, of understanding what a new moon is to be ruled by Saturn. And if you're here, it is my prayer that you are someone that is looking to co create with me to break open heaven on earth. I really am understanding that the people I want to attract to this channel are the ones that are intentionally crafting devotional prayers and looking at the beautiful symbolism and archetypal meaning of Mother Moon and following her path to understand how she is guiding us in our life, knowing when to plant seeds, when to reap what we sow and experience our harvest. So if that's you, I hope it's you. I'm pretty sure it's you. Thank you so much for coming. I really want this to be a devotional space. And if there's any women who are looking to learn about lunar wisdom a little more, who want to come and plant new moon seeds of intentions or celebrate on full moons, I invite you to click below to the Lunar Alchemy Circle. It's breathworks, new moons and full moons with me. And I'm excited to welcome a new tribe of sisters this year to the circle. So with that said, let us begin. All right, so this is our very first new moon of the year. And so it's energetically setting a tone for us. And it's very interesting. We're still in the dark half of the year, in the Northern Hemisphere at least. And this is a very late degree new moon in Capricorn. This is at 28 degrees. And that's significant. All the new moons we are going to have for this next year are going to be later degrees within the zodiac signs that they sit in. And typically, when you think of like you're walking into the beginning of a temple, you're just experiencing a new landscape. And imagine, someone like walking figuratively, through the temple of Capricorn. So by the time they come to the end, these last degrees, there's a culmination of wisdom that is taking place when someone does that. So these are apart from being ruled by Saturn, it feels like a very wise new moon. It feels like a new moon that has aggregated a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, a lot of study, and is now going to be planted within this temple within our psyche and truly somewhere within our body energetically. So I wanted to first start by talking about Capricorn as a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are here to initiate something. At every cardinal sign, it is the announcement, so with the initiation of Capricorn season, we have hit the most dark moment of the year. And now it is our ascent back up into the lighter half of the year. And this sign is represented by the sea goat. And essentially the sea goat is, the terrestrial part of the goat that can climb the mountain. It's associated with ambition and goals and, really driven, focused personality. But then it's got the tail that resides in the water, and it can go down and swim and become more intuitive, and not just intuitive, but spiritually have real depth to it. I wanted to preface this entire new moon by looking a little bit at it through the lens of Liz Green, who is an amazing astrologer. She wrote a book called Saturn, what's it called? A New Look at an Old Devil. I have it on audio. I don't have like the physical book, otherwise I would hold it up for you guys. And so I wanted to get a copy of what it says of this book to kind of put us at a starting point and a foundation of where to go from here for this new moon talk. So when I looked it up, this is how it describes it. A new look at an old devil. Liz Green reframes Saturn from a feared malefic planet to a spiritual initiator, guiding psychological growth through discipline, reality, and facing limitations to achieve greater self-understanding and freedom, blending Jungian psychology with astrology. She sees Saturn's challenges as pathways to consciousness, transforming pain into profound meaning and self-discovery. So I just want to kind of like sit with that for a second and really understand how deeply spiritual. I mean, what did they say? This is a spiritual initiator. Saturn, a spiritual initiator. But it can take the form of what, I've understood to be like the dark guru, which is not as pleasant, but whoa. The lessons from the dark guru are real. So real. This is someone who, like, imagine the struggles of addiction and what hitting rock bottom feels like. But once you do, and once you have your aha moment and your ascent from there to get sober and clean, that is a spiritual experience. And I want to really honor the gravitas of this new moon. I really want to honor Saturn and not just, complain about it. Because that's really easy to do too. But yeah, there was a time, as I was spiritually breaking open, and I took off. I went to Brazil, and I really was understanding, like, feeling just light and shadow within me, outside of me, and just how do I break open, and also like distill the spiritual transmissions and the lessons I was receiving. And I remember commenting to one of my friends, and I said, I feel like the angels tried so hard to tell me a message, and I just couldn't accept it and couldn't listen. So then they were like, "Hey, demons, can you come over here? Because she's not listening to us. Maybe she'll listen to you." And they were both, what I saw is they were both playing on the same team, just very different ways at trying to get me to awaken. And so Capricorn has a mastery to it. It has an understanding that to walk through any initiation, you are going to need perseverance. It can be a lofty goal, but it needs practicality. You cannot just swim off with the fairies, Alejandra, and think it's just angels that are here to teach you. You know what I mean? Like, ambition is there, right? But there is a seriousness that is needed. When I was contemplating on, the Temple of Capricorn, I realized that it shares a lot in common in the sense of that seriousness, like Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars. And it's interesting because Mars is exalted in the Temple of Capricorn, right? So Saturn gets it. Saturn wants the archetype of like Mars, the one who has the drive, the ambition, the willpower, because Saturn wants to then mold it and bring groundedness and teach it, right? And become like a soldier. It could be, and the soldier could turn out like either Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. Both badasses in their own rights, both with very different agendas. So I really want to like share that this new moon has that heavyweight prayer in it. And I did not think about talking about Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, but it's actually really perfect. Because one of the things that I found fascinating, I don't really look at the bounds within the zodiac signs, and essentially like the zodiac signs, you know what? I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show you. So bear with me 1 second while I find my astrology program, because I think it's important for me to go into this next explanation and where I want to take this talk. So right here we have the new moon in Capricorn at 28 degrees. And what I've done is I've put the bound rulers of each zodiac sign all around it. And here you've got conjunct this new moon is Mars, having just gone through uh, a reset with the sun. It's Cazimi. And you've got Mercury about to be burning up right now under the beams of the sun, totally combust and about to reset a new synodic cycle with the sun. And if you look, all of these planets are sitting within the bound of Mars. Okay? Aspecting this new moon, I'm going to go over here to the temple of Pisces. Saturn, you can see, is also sitting within the bounds of Mars. Neptune is here in the bound of Saturn. And so they're forming a sextile and then forming a trine all the way over here to Uranus. Uranus is also sitting in the bound of Mars in the temple of Taurus. Okay? So this is significant. Let me go back to my notes so I don't get lost. So this is incredibly significant because there is definitely an apparent Martian energy. Martian energy? I think that's what we call it. Mars. Well, lots of martial energy. Not Martian, like from, well, kind of, right? From Mars, same thing, same difference. Martial energy, because Mars is 2 degrees away from the new moon, and it is also protected from combustion, having just gone through a rebirth. So Mars is very heavy and present within whatever this new creation and prayer spoken into the seed is going to be about. However, because all of the planets the new moon is aspecting, right, with the exception of Neptune, but it's also in the bound of Saturn, so it's still there, it's playing on the same team. All the planets in the bounds of Mars indicate that there is a heavy influence of Mars as like a teacher, right? And it's lending an energy of action and drive and ambition, which is already so innate to the temple of Capricorn. But now every other aspect it's making is also, those planets are also sitting with that influence, touching it at this time. So Mars, it can be adding lots of themes around action, drive, and we have to remember it's a very passionate planet, and that passion can be very aggressive at times. So when we think of what this seed is supposed to do, it's like, if I go back to my Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader reference, we're choosing a path. I'm hoping, that my team is like Skywalker team. Darth Vader will convert him at the end, but I'm not trying to go to the dark side, right? I'm with the light. And so I also want to be aware that some of these seeds by people around the world are going to lean towards the darker sides. And I've been noticing when I think back to my different YouTube videos that I've done for new moon and full moon, I tend to err just on the side of light. And because that's the timeline that I'm on. I'm here to do my spiritual work. And this new moon in Capricorn is like, now all of a sudden we are all our own heavyweight, champion, walking in, ready to essentially go to battle. And what that battle is, I don't know. I'm not saying that it is, you will actually be fighting something or someone physically, but there is a team you are playing for some sort of spiritual initiation, that you are going to be facing obstacles and challenges, but it is only going to make you stronger in the end. So when I look at some of the aspects, we've got Mars conjunct Mercury, a combust Mercury. And why is that significant? It's significant. Mercury is about to sit at the heart of the sun. It's about to go through its Cazimi. At that Cazimi moment, there will be massive clarity, right? It will be like Mercury is seated on the throne and now has clarity of message. But right now, as it's combust, it could be difficult, to find that true refinement, right? I always think when planets are being burned out by the sun, they're going through a purification process. It's a death. It's truly a death. So Mercury combust, it could mean like conversation, anything that rules conversations, technology, it can feel more difficult to be able to convey your message across, or like you really have to work at it to like, no, 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 no. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to say. I hope you understand it. And because it's conjunct Mars, and Mars is protected in Capricorn, we can be a little more aggressive. It can be a little more combative. So just know, like, as as this new moon prayer is being spoken into the seed, this is something that we're going to become aware of, right? How can we temper a little bit, but also show our passion for what it is that we desire, right? I'll give you an example of a combust Mercury that it felt like for me this week. I have a whole, and it was also around like systems and structures. I have a platform that I have all my contacts, it does my email, it has my offer pages and checkout pages. And the pricing is going to be going up soon in like a couple weeks. And they're actually taking away things on my pricing level that I need and appreciate. And they're charging me more now for less services. And nothing made sense. And something popped up, on Instagram, like an ad for some other platform. And I went on it, and they were just explaining how, like, here's why this is better. This is, and I was like, this is really crazy because it feels like it's going to be so much work, right? The heaviness of Capricorn to be able to transfer what is already created, what already has structure, what already is perfectly in existence. I just don't want to be paying more for it, but move it to a platform that in the long run really feels like it's going to sustain me better. So that transference of weight is kind of like, that's the Mercury combust. Like, I know something else is good in the long run, but how do I get it so it lands over here? It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take, probably hiring a team, or certainly, figuring out how to do like way more things to transfer stuff. And it's, but I know that if I do it, it looks like that's going to be a really good platform moving forward. So that's like just a really mundane example of how I saw it showing up in my life. So think about that. Like, where have you been, either in conversations with people or something like that? Technology itself, a technology that you use and you utilize and it works for you, but something is now needing to shift and you need to transfer it to something else. Another aspect that is very cool, which I really, really like, is the trine that this new moon is making to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Trines are of the nature of Jupiter. Trines are expansive, they allow flow, and it's going to amplify breakthroughs, but they are going to take work. Uranus has been going through Taurus, a very fixed earth sign. Taurus energy is very difficult to just try and shift, right? But Uranus going through for the past 8 years, if you look at the place of where Taurus, rules in your chart, notice what massive changes have been taking place. Because right now, Uranus still in retrograde, right? It's still asking us, turn and review. What else? What are those final changes that need to be made to sustain some sort of revolution, some sort of massive breakthrough that is like the culminating place? And with Uranus in Taurus, no matter where it sits in your chart, because it's, Taurus is all about looking at our values. What do we value in life? Also, the value of seeing ourselves as worthy. So lots of worthiness questions. Self-worth could be a big topic coming up. Things like security. How do you think about the security that you feel? Who provides it to you? Are you the one that has been the provider? Or just feeling safe? It could be like nervous system regulation, right? It's very of the body. And also we think of resources and of course finances, money, and what wants to shift in terms of a reset or a breakthrough for you at this time. I think that Saturn and Neptune together in Pisces, they're already in conversation for a massive new seeding moment. It's not happening right now, but we're all like, all astrologers are waiting to, the end of February, when Saturn and Neptune are going to conjoin at 0 degrees Aries. So right now, they're still a few degrees separated from one another, but they're still very much in conversation. And it could be really to rely on intuition at this time. This new moon is asking us to be very intuitive. Capricorn itself is intuitive. Remember the sea goat with the tail and the ocean being able to go under. And the ruler of this lunation cycle, Saturn in Pisces, is also in a very intuitive sign. So what do you want to build that now requires a sense of really meditative focus? For this new moon, I would definitely recommend to sit in meditation, to do breath work, maybe even like, something regimented, to call in, to harness the energy of what Capricorn demands, which is pragmatism, discipline, structure, and focus. I have goals. What are they? But we need to come from this softer place, because Saturn right now in Pisces is feeling that, is speaking to that. Neptune around it, it's like as soon as something is created, Neptune just wants to dissolve it. Neptune doesn't want structure. These are archetypally so different, and yet both so spiritual in what they want to create. So allow yourself to dream big for this next new moon, and allow yourself to be grounded and very practical in what it is you're calling in. I just submitted a application for a TEDx talk that is scheduled to be taking place in May. And I had like 3 days. I just found out about it. I had 3 days to put the application together. And it was very interesting. I saw that once I submitted it, I looked at all of my assets, who I am as a speaker, who have I been building myself up to be as a speaker, right? Lots of communication, lots of Mercury combust sort of energy. Because I went to my website and I'm like, I got to redo this. I got to add this. I need all of this. There was a refinement needed in my own presentation to hopefully achieve what is this new goal, right? And the TEDx talk is, something that is really great to have in terms of its ability to be broadcasted out to many people. But that's not the work itself. That is my ultimate goal. I'm the Liberated Survivor Ceremony, something that I started last year. Our next ceremony is going to be at the end of February. And it's going to be, during eclipse season. And it just feels very, very big. And I'm realizing if I'm going to look at my house of Capricorn and think about really worldly ambition, it sounds a little scary to say it. Like, it's so funny, like the worthiness of like, can I be the one, but I wish to create a movement. That is my prayer. I want to be known for my work, but not in the sense of known just to be known, right? I want that movement to happen. I want a massive shift of consciousness in all of us, in how we speak and view about rape and sexual assault in our world. I want a massive shift of energetic frequency and mindset in the bodies of all survivors to release guilt and shame and just dismantle what I call a technology that rape infiltrates and puts in our operating system at the moment the event occurs. It's heavy. You feel how heavy that is? Like in conversation, hey, what do you do? Well, I wish to heal the wound of rape in our world. People like, they look back like, really, really, chick? So, but it's okay to say a prayer like this in this type of temple, understanding the big ambition behind it. The big ambition ultimately is to break open heaven on earth. That is super, talk about a spiritual initiation, right? And this is the way I want to do it. So I hope this helps. I wish you beautiful new moon blessings. And if anyone has any questions or comments, or you can tell me how this is affecting you in your life, or if you see any synchronicities with some of the things I've shared, I'd love to know in the comment section. And you can like and subscribe for more information. And I will see you in about 2 weeks for our full moon. All right, take care. Thank you.